get started, just a quick reminder to make sure you hit the subscribe button and also the like button to notify YouTube that you enjoy these videos. Take care. So I want to talk to us now about our thoughts, and in particular, those negative thoughts that we can get hooked by. And literally, it's like once they come into our mind, it's that they literally hook us and pull us in a direction that we don't want to go. And so we can constantly be thinking about, fearing about, worrying about, being anxious about these particular thoughts that often don't even come into fruition. But the damage that they cause in the process can be very tedious, insidious, and damaging to our lives, to our self-esteem, to our confidence. And so we have to really take stock of what's happening, of what's going on in our mind. Because as I've said before, we can experience up to 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And quite often, many of those thoughts can be centered around negativity, around lack, around the things that we feel we can't do. And so we have to learn how we can unhook ourselves from these negative thoughts that create these negative feelings that then produce the outcomes of procrastination, playing it safe, staying in our comfort zones, not believing ourselves, having limiting beliefs, operating out of an imposter syndrome, letting our inner critic rule and control us. And so there's a lot at stake if we continue to be hooked by our negative thoughts, by the rats, the reoccurring afflicted thoughts that scurries about in the subconscious part of our minds, eating away at our self-confidence and our self-esteem and our plans for the future. And so we're going to look at this today so that we can find ways to manage and cope with these criminals that have been robbing us psychologically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually for so long. Today is the day that that all stops. Because at times, we can be going on the roller coaster of negativity. And it's like we go up and down and around in this rumination, thinking constantly on that same thing. Oh my gosh, what if I fail? What if it goes wrong? What if they don't like me? What if I look silly? And we hold on to and ruminate over the wrong things. We never ruminate on what can go right. I wonder how great this is going to be. I wonder how great I'm going to look. I wonder how much people are going to like this. I wonder how much this is going to elevate me. We don't do that, but we do it for the negative. We do it in those areas when we're doubting ourselves, when we're worrying about the outcome, when we don't believe it's going to work out, when we feel that it's impossible, when we're looking at all the things we've done previously where we failed, and we use that as a building block to encourage us to not think we can do it in the present situation. And so we want to really challenge that. We want to really break down this roller coaster. We want to destroy this negative ride that we go on a daily basis so that we can begin to be free, so we can begin to stand and excel and rise and shine and let our light shine forth in our situation and circumstances. From today, I declare that this negative roller coaster ride in your mind is out of order forever. And so let's look at what we can do to deal with and address and dismantle this beast within our thinking. So when we constantly think about what could go wrong and we entertain these thoughts, what it does is it births doubt within ourselves. And as a result of that doubt is the precursor for worry. Worry is the precursor for fear. And once we are consumed by fear, the false evidence appearing real, we seldom achieve the things that we desire. Because fearful thinking, fear is like a dark room that produces many negatives. And once we get stuck and caught in that trap, we're then always minimizing ourselves and maximizing the fear or the situation or the circumstance that's present. We always see it as a giant and ourselves as a small, mouse compared to that giant. And so what happens is that, as you can see with all of the red matches, all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions of lack, of limits, of seeing yourself from as less than, are the things that stand up. But I want today within you for there to arise this lion heart spirit, that the real you will stand up. That person that is confident, that person that is bold, that person that is courageous, that person that says, I am, I can, I will. That person that knows their potential, that person that knows their value, that person that refuses to give up. The real you needs to stand up today. And I tell you something, that for many people, what happens is like within you, there is a higher consciousness. And that higher consciousness is reflected by Felix. And you have your higher conscious bugging out, wondering, who are you? What is this? I know you can do better than this. Why are you fearing? Why are you going backwards? Why are you retreating? Why are you playing it safe? You're powerful. You're mighty. You're awesome. You've got this. I know you. And it's time for you to rise from the ashes of fear, of doubt, of worry, of complacency, of your past. And it's time to declare a new identity for yourself. See yourself from that identity. Think from that identity. Feel from that identity and act from that identity, so that you can do and achieve all that you were created to do, all that you were destined to do, all that you desire to do. It can be achieved, but it starts up here with your thinking, your thoughts, because thoughts create things, and your mind is the battlefield. And every battle that we face, whether we win or lose, is determined in the mind. And so today is the day that you evict every negative thought from your mind, because you are the landlord of your mind. You are the one who has the final say. You are the one who declares what is going to circulate in your mind. And it's time to take the battle to the gates of the enemy and slay those thoughts that have been consuming you and holding you prisoner for way too long. And so some of you may be saying, well, how do we do that? That sounds great. So let me show you something that you can start to do to manage your thoughts. So let's take our time and go through this. So I want you to think of a negative thought that you often get hooked by, something that keeps you bound, something that constantly comes up, okay? Just think of whatever that is and write it down. So you put it into a sentence. So I'm giving you an example here. This is just one that I often hear people say when I'm coaching them or supporting them. It's that I'm not good enough. Okay, so that's the negative thought that we're using as an example. I'm not good enough. So now what you do is you replay the thought with this phrase in front of it. I am having a thought that I am not good enough. Do you see the difference between these two? Do you see how what you're doing by adding that statement before is you are taking away the power and the weight of that punch of that negative thought. Because you are now you're making it more clear what's happening. You're clarifying what's taking place. I am having a thought that I am not good enough, rather than declaring it to be a statement and a fact, I'm not good enough. Okay? That in its own, that by itself would make a significant difference, but we're not stopping there because we're not taking no chances with this. So after you do that, you now replay it again with this phrase in front of it. I know that I am having a thought that I am not good enough. And so you're adding another layer to this. You're bringing more context to this. You're stating it and putting it in the right compartment to say that you know now, it's now conscious what is going on. These thoughts are not just ruminating in the back of your mind and you're not really paying attention to it, but you're feeling the effects of it. You're now saying, wait, I am bringing this into my conscious awareness and I'm making it known that I know that I am having a thought that I am not good enough. And the goal is to create a space or distance from the thought for you to see it for what it is. And the reason why that is important is because negative thoughts come thick and fast. They come like boom, 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 boom. And because of that, we don't really get a time to understand what's happened. It's just like when a boxer gets a flurry of punches in a fight, and then they're kind of dazed. They don't know what's happening. So when that next one comes, it knocks them out. And that's the same thing that's what's been happening to you in some parts of your life, mentally, is that you're getting rocked by these negative thoughts that just keep coming. And then you don't know when the next one comes and bam, you're out for the count. And you just say, what's the point? And you give up. Well, I want you to start using this. Whenever you have a negative thought that's hooking you, that's keeping you bound, take a moment, stop, write it down. Write it down, write down what that thought is, and then go through this two-step process and declare, I am having a thought that. And then after that, I know that I am having a thought that, and speak it out because words have power. And by doing this, you can begin to evict the squatters of those negative thoughts that have been leaving your mind a mess. And as a result, you will recognize that not every thought is true. And once you put it in context and you review it, you are able to recognize that, and it will liberate you. It will free you, and it will transform your life for the better. Now, one final thing that I do want to talk to you about is about becoming your own mindful mentor. Now, not many people have ever thought of doing this. And, it's great to get a mentor if you can have someone else who's going to mentor you. But it's even just as much important to become your own mindful mentor. And you must be thinking, what do I mean by that? Well, when you become your own mindful mentor, you are the one who provides guidance for you. You are the person who motivates you. And you are the person who provides emotional support to you. And so how this works is it's important that you take time to reflect and to recognize and see your thoughts as a separate entity. And the reason why I say that is because when we think thoughts, we think that it's just us and it's a part of us. And so we take them on face value for whatever thoughts we have. And those thoughts, because they are energy, because thoughts is energy, they create emotions, which is energy in motion. And when that emotional currency is so strong, it creates strong emotions such as fear, worry, and anxiety, or joy, happiness, and excitement. And so When we are becoming our own mindful mentor and we separate our thoughts from ourselves and see it as a separate entity, we then can have much more clarity in relation to those thoughts and how we address those thoughts. Now, when you start to do this, you will start to realize there is so much things that came into our mind that we just accepted, that if we saw that as someone else, we would never tolerate those things that someone else would be saying to us. When we say, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, I can never do this, oh, I'm a failure, and we repeat and constantly speak those things into being over our lives, it's no wonder we find things difficult to do. It's no wonder that we procrastinate. It's no wonder that we're filled with fear. It's no wonder that we don't trust ourselves. It's no wonder that we have limiting beliefs. And so I want you to start doing this. And I guarantee you, you will be blown away by how much you can start to challenge your thoughts. When the stinking thinking comes in, when the reoccurring afflicting thoughts, the rats come in, when your inner critic comes in, when the, imposter syndrome tries to hold you down, when, the monkey, the chimp, whatever you want to call it, when all of these thoughts now, you start to see that as someone else saying that to you, you can then dismantle that. You can challenge that. You can address that. And you can coach and mentor those thoughts. You can tell it. You've got no foundation by what you're talking about. In fact, you don't even know me. Get out. You can start to talk to yourself in that way and coach and mentor yourself. And if you think that this sounds crazy, I guarantee you, just give it a go. Just try, and you will see how powerful this tool can be. And if you combine this with the other exercise that I've just shown you, you will make real progress in your mind. And remember, the mind is the battlefield. So begin to start to enter into the frequency of your thoughts, knowing that it's warfare, knowing that there's a strategic battle that is going on, and knowing that when you change from the rumination of negative thoughts to the frequency and intensity and consistency of positive, powerful thoughts, you transform and energize your whole body, your whole life. And that transformation will be seen by others. And they will come to you and say, what's happened? You look different. You seem different. Because the energy of your thoughts and the energy of your emotions will now be for positive rather than negative. They will be empowering you rather than draining you. They'll give you peace rather than despair. So I encourage you to take these ideas and apply them to your life so you can make the rest of your life the best of your life. Take care.